Before anything else, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment because I want to hear from you throughout this story. Do you think Dawn Staley should already be giving Alicia Tournebize more minutes, or is this slow build the smartest move she could make? Because what we saw against Coppin State wasn't random. It wasn't filler minutes. And it definitely wasn't Dawn Staley just being nice. This was intentional, strategic, and very on brand for one of the greatest coaches in basketball. South Carolina walked into the Coppin State game exactly the way elite programs are supposed to. Focused, physical, locked in from the opening tip. The Gamecocks controlled the pace early, smothered Coppin State defensively, and turned the game into one of those nights where the final score never truly felt in doubt. But within that domination was a subplot that mattered far more than the scoreboard. Alicia Tournebize was on the floor. And she wasn't just running around trying to survive her minutes. She was playing like someone who belonged. For weeks, fans have been asking the same question. Why isn't Alicia Tournebize playing more? Why does someone with her size, skill set, and international experience seem stuck on the edge of the rotation? And the answer has never been about talent. It's been about trust, timing, and system. Dawn Staley does not rush players. She never has. It doesn't matter how hyped you are, where you're from, or what your resume looks like. At South Carolina, minutes are earned through understanding. Understanding defensive principles. Understanding spacing. Understanding when to help, when to switch, when to stay home, and when to rotate. One missed assignment can swing a game at the highest level, and Staley knows that better than anyone. Alicia Tournebize came in with a unique background. She's not a typical freshman who spent years in the same AAU system most American players grow up in. She played professionally in France. That's high-level basketball, but it's a different rhythm. Different reads. Different expectations. The SEC is faster. More physical. More unforgiving. And Dawn Staley wasn't going to throw her into the fire before she was fully ready. Against Coppin State, though, the environment was different. This wasn't a tight SEC battle where every possession carried pressure. This was a game where South Carolina could control tempo, extend the rotation, and allow players to play through mistakes without consequence. And that's exactly when Dawn Staley chose to give Tournebize more time. What stood out immediately was how calm she looked. There was no panic in her movements. She ran the floor hard. She finished plays when they came to her. She didn't force shots. She didn't try to prove anything. That alone tells you a lot. Young players who are pressing usually rush decisions. Tournebize didn't. She played within herself. Defensively, she was active. She communicated. She moved laterally. She stayed engaged off the ball. Those are the things Dawn Staley values more than points. Anyone can score in a blowout. Not everyone can defend correctly possession after possession. Tournebize showed that she's starting to understand what's being asked of her. Her stat line won't blow anyone away, and that's fine. 8 points, a rebound, a block, a steal. What matters is how those minutes looked. They were clean. They were controlled. And they were mistake-light. That's the currency that buys you more playing time in Columbia. This is also where fans need to zoom out. Dawn Staley is not coaching for January. She's coaching for March. Every decision she makes is about who she can trust when the margins shrink and the lights get brighter. Games like Coppin State are about planting seeds. About seeing who responds. About testing readiness without saying a word. And Tournebize responded. This doesn't mean she's suddenly jumping into a 25-minute role. Dawn Staley doesn't work like that. But it does mean she's moved forward in the rotation conversation. It means she's no longer just a project. She's becoming an option. And on a team with championship aspirations, that matters. South Carolina's depth is already elite, but what wins titles is versatility. The ability to throw different looks at opponents. To survive foul trouble. To adjust to matchups. Tournebize gives Staley another piece on the chessboard. Another body who can defend, run, and finish without disrupting the flow. And perhaps most importantly, she's now gaining confidence. Confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from trust. From knowing your coach believes you can handle the moment. Coppin State wasn't the destination. It was the beginning of the next step. Dawn Staley has always been deliberate. She builds players brick by brick, not highlight by highlight. And when she finally gives you room to grow, it's because she knows you're ready to handle it. Alicia Tournebize is walking that path now, so the next time you see her check into a game, pay attention to the details. The defensive stance. The movement without the ball. The way her teammates look for her. Because those are the signs of a player earning her place. If you're still watching, like the video, subscribe, and comment below. Do you believe Alicia Tournebize will play a real role down the stretch for South Carolina, or should Dawn Staley continue to bring her along slowly? Either way, one thing is clear. Dawn Staley hasn't rushed this process. And if history has taught us anything, when she moves at her own pace, it usually ends with confetti falling in March. Before you click away, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment because this conversation doesn't end here. Alicia Tournebize's minutes against Coppin State weren't loud, but they were meaningful. And when it comes to Dawn Staley, meaning always matters more than noise. She doesn't hand out opportunities, she prepares players to handle them. What we saw wasn't the final version of Tournebize. It was the foundation being set. South Carolina isn't searching for answers. They're stacking options. And every extra body Dawn Staley trusts makes this team even more dangerous when the pressure is highest. Tournebize is no longer just a name fans are asking about, she's becoming a piece that fits. So keep your eyes open moving forward. Watch the rotations. Watch the matchups. Watch when and where Dawn Staley chooses to use her. Because those choices always tell the real story. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives on South Carolina women's basketball, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Is Alicia Tournebize the next breakout piece, or is Dawn Staley still just getting started? Either way, this season is building towards something special, and we'll be here to break down every step of it.